Hello and welcome to Checkpoint Reach Podcast. I'm your host, Kelvin. Today I'm joined by Matty. How you doing, mate?
Good, mate. Long time no speak.
Yeah. It's been an interesting few weeks. So I've been busy, so I've been away, and unfortunately we weren't able to do the podcast, but we're back. Me and Matty are going to be doing the podcast every week. We record on a Thursday, so they're going to go out on a Friday, the best we can anyway, with the time, maybe a Saturday if we're late, but it should be every Friday. The podcast should be releasing YouTube and all the audio platforms that are out there. Matty as well, we're also looking to stream some games, aren't we?
Yeah, we've got a few planned. We've got It Takes Two on the shelf in the cellophane, ready to go.
Waiting,
so
ready.
I guess we'll probably play that first, but if anyone has any suggestions of what they want us to play, then feel free to pop it in the comments down below, and we'll do our best to get the actual game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because like Matty said, we're going to start streaming again. And if you've got any suggestions, put them in the comments below. We're going to stream on YouTube and Twitch. We're going to set days aside, schedule we haven't really figured out just yet, but that will happen. We've also got a Discord. If you want to join our Discord, links are in the description below. And that way you can communicate with us and also put in recommendations there that you might have. And before we do get started, if you're listening to us on any audio platforms, give us a nice review, pass on the pod. That'll help us to grow. And also, if you're listening to us on YouTube, like the video and comment below on what we're going to cover today on the topics. Again, that'll help the channel to grow, so we appreciate it. But anyway, Matty, let's jump into it. The first topic we wanted to talk about today was the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Will run at 120 FPS only on the Xbox Series X. It's going to run at 34K on the Series S, 1440p will be 60, and then the PS5 is 4K 60. So what do you think of this? Does it surprise you that it's only the Series X that will run it at 120 FPS?
Not really, just because of the fact that it's on the Xbox One X and PS4 anyway. You know, it doesn't surprise me that they're able to push it to 120 FPS on the X. Surprises me a little bit that there's not a similar mode on the PlayStation 5. I mean, most comparisons we've seen, people get bored to death, don't they, sometimes with technical specs, but it's most comparisons we've seen have had the PS5 and Series X on a relatively level playing field. So the fact that the Series X can do 120 FPS and the PS5 is just sort of left at 60 is a bit strange.
Yeah.
You never know the real agenda behind those sort of things. I mean, we know that EA have got a very good relationship now with Microsoft. So
you think this could be underhanded tactics, trying to push people more to the Xbox way?
It happens, you know. It's beneficial for EA if people are on Xbox, you know. I'm sure, I can't confirm this, but I'm sure they have some sort of, you know, like you said, underhanded deal. Maybe they get a bigger cut of games that are sold on Xbox compared to PS5. You never really know exactly what's going on with that. But, the fact that EA Play is bundled into Game Pass shows you really how much of a positive relationship they have at the moment with EA. So
yeah, it always seems to be growing. I mean, like you touched on, we're not saying that it is what's happened, but it wouldn't surprise you. You know, they've got this deal, so maybe they do put out the best version possible on the Xbox side of things, try and push people more into that ecosystem. Oh, mic just fell. Mic drop, apparently. But no, yeah, it could be the case, and obviously it was original on Xbox as well back in the day, wasn't it? Exclusive even. So who knows? To be honest, I mean, I don't have the Series X. I have the Series S, and I've got myself a PS5, and I'm still unsure what I will be purchasing it on. You've got a Series X, haven't you? So I'm guessing you'll be getting it on the X.
Yeah, I'll get it on the X. I'll probably get a physical copy. I know you're all in on digital, so you're going to have to pay those digital prices. So
unfortunately,
get used to your wallet being burned.
Yeah, I already am. Mate, every time now a new game comes out, I'm like, oh, God. I mean, unless it's on Xbox Game Pass, obviously, then that's handy. But yeah, unfortunately, it's all digital, and it might have been a mistake at this point. Still pretty expensive. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out in the long term. But when it comes to the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, anyway, is it something you're excited for now? Because I think release date May 14th, you told me off air, so it's getting close, only a couple of weeks away now.
Yeah, I mean, I've said to you on previous podcasts that I didn't think I was going to play it. I'm still on the fence as to whether I'm going to buy it. I mean, I have pre-ordered it, so as to whether that gets cancelled in like 4 or 5 days' time, I'm not 100% sure, but
Man, you have to play it, don't you? It's a beloved game of ours.
It's just ruining the magic, though, isn't it? So and sometimes that way, like Star Wars, they're timeless. You can go back and watch A New Hope and Empire and Return of the Jedi, and they still hold up, and they don't make you feel sad about liking it as a kid. And I don't want that to happen with Mass Effect. I don't want to load it back up and be like, actually, are these as good as I remember?
They will be.
Sowing the seeds of doubt in my mind already.
No, don't let it happen. Don't do that to yourself. I think it's going to be great. I really do. I think it's going to be really fun. And I haven't played it for years now. I'm assuming you're similar to me. I literally haven't played it for about 4 or 5 years.
I haven't played it since the original releases, I don't think. So.
Oh, you never went back to it?
A decade. No, never been back.
Wow. Well, mate, that's like even more reason to go back. You're going to get to play it. The story's still great. Story will still hold up. The ending on 3rd, obviously, that's debatable. Not many people like that. But the story's still great, and the gameplay is going to be even better. And obviously, graphical-wise, it's going to be more aesthetically pleasing too. So, I think you should, man. It's going to be. I'm it's going to be great.
In the Mass Effect hoodie as well today, so.
Oh, there you go.
Bait, then I don't know what is.
You can't rock up to the podcast wearing the Mass Effect hoodie and then say you're not going to play the Legendary Edition. I'm not accepting that. Gotta get you to play it, man. Because, obviously, if you listen to podcasts in the past, Sud used to be co-host as well, and he was saying like he really wanted to even stream it and stuff like that, and we were going to do some streams on the channel, and I'm still open to that. But imagine just jumping back in and being able to relive those experiences. And I never really played a Renegade playthrough as Shepard, so that could be something I could do.
I can never do it. I can never do an evil playthrough because they never make any sense. It's like the game drives you in a way to feel like you're a protagonist, and when these games have like these binary like good versus evil choices. I mean, I don't know if people that are listening I'm sure there are a lot of people listening who are of a different opinion and just select the evil options every time. But to me, it's always like, even though I want to be a dick, I still end up, pressing the good option in the end.
Yeah, I guess I kind of know what you mean. To be fair, my argument had always been I didn't want to do a Renegade playthrough because ultimately you're the good guy and you end up saving the galaxy or trying to save the galaxy no matter what, don't you? Really? Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of been the same. It's always pushing you that, basically Shepard will do the right thing in the end, or by whatever means he ends up doing more of the right things. But there certainly are some interesting Renegade choices. Oh my god, why can't I remember the Solarian's name now? Mordin? Is it Mordin?
Which character are we talking about?
The Solarian Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, I should remember that. But obviously the Renegade choice to kill him and stop him from curing the genophage. It's like ultimate evil bastard sort of stuff. But I could never bring myself to do that. I just couldn't. It's Shepard, man. He's meant to be a good guy or woman, whatever playthrough you're going through. So I still think that you should jump on it. I mean, it's going to sell well, isn't it? Ultimately as well. Like if we look from that side of things, it's going to do really well, and I don't think you should miss out.
Well, watch this space, because next week I'll probably have it in my hands if I'm going to play it. And they usually come a day early if you pre-order it. So
true.
You will know the truth.
The truth will set you
next week.
Tune in next week to see if the guy wearing the Mass Effect hoodie plays the game. Mate, come on. You got to. The community will be disappointed.
This is just the perk of work, mate. There's 99p when I was working at Game. It went on offer. And it's
the hoodie?
A good 7 years. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I wish I'd have known about that.
No, you never get to know about it because I just buy them all. Put them in the back of the office and never tell anyone. Starting to sound like Del Boy. Sort of something out the back of your car. Oh my god. Yeah, but let us know in the comments below what you think about obviously the FPS. Which console are you going to ultimately play the Mass Effect Legendary Edition on? Are you excited for it? Only 2 weeks out, roughly. So, yeah.
We're excited. Well, I'm excited. Matty might be. Next week we'll find out. But yeah, let's go on to other news. And something else that we wanted to chat about. This probably more so leans your way because I've never played this console, but the Switch sales near 85 million in Nintendo's most profitable year ever. A landmark year for Japanese gaming giants, as Nintendo has reported that it's experienced its most profitable financial year on record, with operating profits up 81% year on year. Additionally, the company is approaching 85 million sales of the Nintendo Switch console. What do you think? I mean, I know you owned one or own one.
Ridiculous numbers, yeah, ridiculous numbers. It's an amazing console, and just to put it into context, it's outsold the 360 like in half as many years.
Yeah,
so
half the cycle.
It'll go past 100 million, obviously, and I think I just wanted to touch on maybe a decade ago. Articles were everywhere on the news saying console gaming is dead. Streaming's going to replace it. Digital downloads, all this nonsense of people making bold predictions about an industry they know nothing about. And the PS4 and the Switch are both going to sell over 100 million. Like the PS4's on course to be competing with the PS2 in
Crazy,
sales,
man.
which is ridiculous. I mean, it's already overtaken it in software sales, which at the end of the day, that's where Sony's making the money. So it's made them more money than the PS2, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just nice to see console gaming thriving, I guess.
Yeah, because obviously that's what we've grown up with, isn't it? Like we've always been console gamers mainly. I think in recent years you have, experimented a bit more with the PC gaming side of things, but it's good to see. And I know from you, Sud, and Ted, who's also been on the podcast before, friend of the show, you guys all had the Switch and you guys all rave about it and saying how good it is and how much you have had enjoyment out of it. So to see it sell so well, I'm still surprised. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because I literally... Oh, well, I nearly said I've never owned a Nintendo console, which is a lie because I had the Wii, which family didn't.
You owned the worst one with the most shovelware.
Yeah, I know.
Like
I know. That was more of like a family buy, though.
Yeah, it was for Wii Bowling or Wii Sports. That's all anyone bought one for. You picked it up, you played bowling twice, and then just put it in the cupboard.
Gathered dust. yeah, basically that's how it went. But I never had like the Nintendo 64 or anything like that, so obviously I missed out. And
always wanted one when I was a kid. Obviously, I mean everyone had Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Nintendo, in a way, for me, has always been in an unfortunate situation where I've only really been able to play Nintendo consoles as I've grown older and had more disposable income. Because to me, it's never really held its own as, when you're a poor-ish kid and you're just begging your parents for money to buy games and consoles and stuff. You could only usually get away with one or two max most of the time. And it's... like Nintendo consoles were always like a secondary device for me, and it's the same with the Switch. I wouldn't have the Switch as my primary gaming console; it'd drive you insane. There's hardly any games that get released on it in terms of third party support.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the games are Nintendo first party or indie games, or maybe like remasters of 360 and PS3 games. So it's definitely not something you can use as your main console, but just the novelty of it is what's driven the sales. It's just such a great feeling to just plop it in the dock, play on your TV, and then it's like, oh, I want to go to bed now. Take it out the dock and just head on upstairs and play Zelda in bed till like 2 a.m.
Yeah, deprive yourself of sleep.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
Yeah, well, that's it, and it's accessible. But you touched on a good point. Kind of the same for me. I guess the main reason why I didn't have it growing up as a kid is because, you're asking your parents to buy you a console. And obviously, the older we got, it was more like, well, what consoles my friends got? Well, yeah, I want that because I want to play online with them and stuff like that. So ultimately, missed out. And unfortunately, I've just never really gone to the side back to try out Nintendo since the Wii days. And you touched on, obviously, the Game Boy. I forgot about the Game Boy, but yeah, it was a big, I mean, we were like, what, 10? Throwback.
Oh, yeah, everyone played Pokemon. Like, we were the generation where we could go into school in like year 6, year 7, and every single person would be playing Pokemon. So
pretty much.
It just shows how widespread that game was, but it's because they knocked it out of the park with price point. The weird thing for me with the Switch is It's 280 quid. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad price, but it hasn't budged since launch. It's been 280 quid since launch. It hasn't had a price drop once, and it's still sold 85 million units. Now, I know the Switch Lite is counted into that a little bit, but that's only been out for a year or so, and I think people still prefer to buy the big Switch anyway, just to have the the docking capabilities. So to have sold this many consoles at that price, Nintendo must be making an absolute fortune from this console, because the price that this cost, the cost to make the device, obviously at the time when it was launched, was probably, maybe they were making 10, 20 quid, but those parts would have gone down dramatically in price since then. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they were making £100 a console on it at this point.
Which would be absolutely frightening if they were. I mean, no wonder they're getting such profits then, year on year, if that is the case.
It's the same with their games. But, a Nintendo game is 50, 60 quid, and that's what it stays at forever. There's no point where it goes down or on sale, and it works for them because they provide a value to their boxed game that not many other companies can provide. Like, with the Nintendo first party stuff, the majority of the time they're going to knock it out of the park. Can't always say the same with Sony, and especially Microsoft.
Yeah, we've touched on that before. We're very disappointed with Microsoft's side of things. One thing that you touched on with maybe that being the case and them making profit on the actual consoles itself, the Xbox side of things. Did you see that report as well? It wasn't a topic that we thrown in, but just off the cuff, that they've never made money or profit on the actual console itself.
On the device, yeah. I think so. So that doesn't surprise me. I mean, the point of most Nintendo making money on a console is an anomaly, really. Most consoles are sold at as close to cost as possible, because the obvious assumption is that if you buy an Xbox, you're going to buy Xbox Live Gold, you're going to buy Game Pass, you're going to buy some games, you're going to maybe buy an extra controller, and that's where they make their money. And the same with PlayStation, so it makes sense to sell it for as low a cost as possible, just to get as many people in through the doors to buy software, to buy accessories, to buy memberships. But it's just such a strange anomaly that Nintendo actually make money off devices. It's testament, I guess, to how well they do as a software developer. I mean, they've managed to make very good games for a number of decades that people still want to come back and play more. And I was shocked, to be perfectly honest, at some of the games that I played on the Switch, because I'd never really played a Zelda game, not properly. And that's an admission, I'd played bits of Ocarina of Time and bits of Majora's Mask at like people's house, and I was like, yeah, that looks all right, but it doesn't it doesn't warrant me buying a console or getting one for Christmas or whatever. But when I played Breath of the Wild, I was just absolutely amazed at how good that game was. It was such a brilliant game, and it really took me aback and maybe made me reevaluate it, really. Maybe I should have been playing Nintendo games all these years ago, because that was amazing.
Was it that good?
It was very, very good, yeah.
Jeez. Because I'm the same as you, never played a Zelda game, which, I clearly missed a train, so it's something that you obviously recommend maybe going out to try.
Yeah, I mean, we've just touched on it, that you're probably not going to get a Switch for cheap, but if you could borrow one, or someone that's got one, it's definitely worth playing.
Yeah. What other games surprised you on the Nintendo side of things? Any that spring off the top of your head?
The one that I've been playing most recently and is perfect for that system is Hades. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's it's kind of like a roguelite RPG. So death is permanent and you come back slightly more powerful, but when you die, you die. But that's a really, really good game. Amazing reviews, and I think it's perfect for the Switch, because it's like one of those games that you pick up for half an hour to an hour and then put down, those type of games are just absolutely amazing on the Switch. But there's been unexpected things as well. Tetris 99 is a game that I probably played for like 100 hours plus.
Really?
On that system, yeah. Because of the fact that you're sitting there, you're waiting for something, whatever, your girlfriend's getting ready or something, whatever it is that you're waiting for dinner. You pick up the Switch, 10, 15 minutes, like a game of Tetris. It's a battle royale. It's fun. It's it's really, really easy to play. And that I've lost hundreds of hours to that game. So, but that is.
I feel like we took the mick out of that game when it first was announced.
Maybe
like
I probably did.
years and years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then now you're saying you've sunk hours into it.
I distinctly remember it because of the way it was described at the time. It just said Tetris Battle Royale with no context. And I was just imagining like a first-person shooter with people running around as an L block. Like, what is Tetris Battle Royale? But yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, Nintendo first party, what do you need to say other than, the usual suspects, Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, all brilliant games. It's a really good console. And I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to say you should definitely buy this console, but if the opportunity ever arises to get one for cheap, maybe when the new system comes out, it's definitely worth picking up because there's hundreds of hours worth of enjoyment that you can get out of that console.
Yeah, I feel like I should. I feel like you touched on, maybe when like the next generation comes out, I pick up the old generation and catch up on some games that I've missed because, like I touched on previously, you guys have all said, and I think Ted's a massive. I don't know why I keep pointing there like he's there. Ted up there. There he is. All right, Ted, mate. Yeah, he reckons that, Legend of Zelda. What's it called? Sorry?
Zelda? Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, of course, yeah. Yeah, he was a massive fan of it as well, and I don't think he'd played many Zelda games either, so it kind of opened his eyes into what he'd been missing. So,
the world of Zelda.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo, considering I've never played though, I've always been under the assumption that they knock it out of the park with their party exclusives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which, I kind of guess that might be a bit of an obvious thing to say, but like I said, I literally don't really pay attention too much to Nintendo, but I do always hear how good their games are. I see reviews. Everyone seems to be happy in that ecosystem with the games that they get given or that are brought out that they get to experience. So,
yeah,
clearly, knocking it out of the park.
Absolutely. And the sales are just testament to their continued quality, I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone wrote Nintendo off after the Wii U. It was an absolute travesty of a console, probably one of the worst consoles ever released. But
you weren't a fan then?
With Nintendo, it's like they take risks, and sometimes they fall flat on their face, and then sometimes you get the Switch, and the proof is in the pudding with the amount of money that console must have made them. Yeah. So innovation is obviously risky, but they're reaping the rewards with this system, especially.
Yeah, that they are, and good for them. If the player base is happy, then I'm happy for them. But let's move on then to the last topic of the day, one that you've thrown in for a little bit of a laugh, because Sony patents system to let struggling PS5 players call in experts to help. So apparently, Sony likens the idea to how people use Uber. And it says, Sony has filed a patent that would allow struggling players to call in experts to help guide them through a game. The patent, dubbed Connecting a Player to an Expert Help in Real Time During the Gameplay of a Gaming Application, that's a long dub, was originally filed last week via Patent Scope, summarising its idea. And Sony states that video games are becoming more complex and expansive, but that increased complexity means that users may find it increasingly difficult to navigate through or complete the video game. So you can call an expert to help.
Yeah, I'll be calling an expert on Dark Souls. I can't complete the last part. It made me laugh. It did make me laugh, just the way that this was presented. That you have an expert drop in and try and help you to complete a game. Like, what is the world coming to, honestly? No. Easier and easier with each passing generation, let's be honest. I mean, you look at some of the original like NES games and SNES games, it's like you could break 100 controllers playing those games. And now most games hold your hand. Like, really, on easy mode as well. Who is gonna I can't even get my words out right. That's how bad it is. Who is going to pay someone to complete like a Sony style third person game like Uncharted or God of War or something? I mean, on easy, just turn it down to easy. Like, the game pretty much plays itself as it is.
Mate, how embarrassing would it be as well, just to be like, all right, okay, spoiler alert, I'm 29. If I paid someone to do it and little Jimmy, who's like 14, is like, okay, here we go.
Little Jimmy making an appearance again.
Yeah. Mate, he always will forever now. You can thank R-Truth for that. But no, like, that's absolutely insanity to me. I don't personally get it. Now, people might be in the comments saying, oh, well, you know, fair enough, I get it. I don't. But to be fair, I don't really tend to play my games on the hardest difficulties anyway. I like to have a fun experience and complete games, especially single-player games, obviously. However, playing devil's advocate, we do know Perks, who was a co-host, friend of the show as well, still a friend of the show. He used to get paid to help people on Destiny. So there's clearly a market for it. As shocked as I am, there is clearly a market for it where people seem to think.
I guess so, but a raid on Destiny, or I'm not entirely familiar with whatever he was doing, making money from Destiny somehow. But the raids on Destiny are pretty difficult, you know, by anyone's standards. And I think the difference is with Destiny, there's an amount of grinding that you have to do to get to a certain level. So I don't necessarily think it was people who didn't have the skill to play. I more think it was people who didn't have the time. You know, I can't see any situation where people would be too... Like, if you're not good enough at a game to complete Uncharted, then you should not be playing video games anymore.
Well, that's harsh. That's harsh. You're literally gunning for someone there. If they're watching now, sat there thinking, I couldn't complete that. You're telling them they should never play video games again.
I mean, it's true though. Come on. I mean, Uncharted on easy difficulty.
No, I do agree. It was incredibly easy. just playing devil's advocate.
It was just an example I was picking up out of a hat. You could probably get 10 more. I'm just going for the Sony exclusive blueprint, which is basically some sort of third-party, story-driven 12 to 15-hour game. Most of them are very, very, very easy on the easiest difficulty. So it surprises me that this is even something that's been brought up. And if you're that bad at games, just watch it on Twitch or something.
Get good scrub.
You don't even have to play, because that's basically what you're paying this guy to do. You're paying them to watch someone else play the game. So
it's kind of true.
I don't understand why you would want this. So, yeah.
I do want to jump in just quickly because you said that, right? Which I do, to be fair, agree with. But one of the ideas that me and you discussed off show about a potential video that we're going to have in the works at some point is the top games that we couldn't complete. Granted, we were kids back then.
That's a difference.
Yeah, but still. Oh dear.
No. But that's the thing. It inspires you to get better as a 9-year-old. It's like, I'm crap at this game, so the next one I'm gonna complete.
Yeah, but we will have that list, so look out for that.
Yeah, no, definitely look out for that. That will be a future video. So
100%.
If anyone has any suggestions of games that they found difficult to complete when they were a kid, drop it in the comments, because we've got a few of our own, but
we do.
Maybe you could jog our memory.
Yeah, we'll be asking the community as well on Discord and stuff, so yeah, join that. But I think, to be fair, I have been trying to, play devil's advocate and wind you up a bit, but no, I do agree where you're coming from. It's just like,
do you think this patent's gonna take off? It's gonna be something that they actually implement into the console?
I don't know. I genuinely, because I personally, as I said, I think it's silly. Don't really see the point. You made a good point. If you're stuck, watch someone else on Twitch. But a lot of the times, if I ever actually do get stuck, like genuinely, and I can't be asked, I just watch a YouTube video and someone shows me how to do it, and I get past the next and I do it myself. Boom. Why would you pay someone to then sit there and watch them play your save? Is it like... I
mean, we're assuming that there's a monetary value attached to it. Maybe it's just like a ask the community thing.
Oh yeah, maybe it's not.
Does it out of the goodness of their heart, but I can't see it. Just the way they've the terminology of it is ask an expert. Not just like that suggests to me someone who's
Paid.
getting paid to help you do it. So
yeah, agreed. That terminology usually does indicate that someone's going to get paid. But I guess it's maybe like, I think with the Destiny thing with perks was, I remember talking to him at the time, this is like probably 3-4 years ago now, to be fair, but it was along the lines of people who didn't have the time but wanted certain objects or loot or whatever.
yeah.
So I feel like that's why. Maybe it's just like, maybe people would pay an expert to do it or help them pass certain stages so they can finally complete the game and just be like, yay, I did it. I don't know.
I mean, people will pay for anything.
True.
You know,
True.
how many kids pay for loot boxes on FIFA every week is, you know, mind-boggling. How much money that game makes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, at least less said about that, the better, because it's a joke. Come on.
Oh, good old FIFA. Good old FIFA.
Yes, a game that is dead to me. As things stand.
But
no,
paying an expert to finish your games, thumbs down from me. I hope that doesn't happen, because it's just like what is the world come to if it does?
Didn't they have a feature on the PS4 that allowed people to jump in and take control?
I thought that is like 30 minutes or something like that, where you could pass the controller to someone else in the party. Because I remember back in the PS4 days when it had first come out, me and Sud trying this, and it did work, but the feature was unusable at the time because we both had relatively slow internet connections, so it was like, you know, it was lagging all over the place. But I don't know if that feature's even still in the console. It doesn't seem to be widely used, you know.
I've literally, well, to be fair, I don't think I've ever really seen anyone post about it, talk about it. Anyone who's played the console, I've never heard them really mention it either. So, yeah, maybe it's just a dead feature. I don't even know. Did they transfer it onto? Maybe this is like the next stage that they're trying for the next generation. They're just trying to implement it a different way, and they've tried to make improvements on what they first had as an idea and tried implementing on the PS4. Not sure.
Potentially.
But it's a big thumbs down.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Thumbs down from me.
Yeah.
It's a no from me.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I think it's a no from me as well. But that's probably a good place to leave the podcast for this week. Thanks for listening. As always, if you are listening to us on any audio platforms, leave us a nice review and pass on the pod. You can also subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment with your thoughts on the topics we covered today. That would be very helpful as well. And you can follow the podcast on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ChetReachPod. Also, join our Discord community. Links are in the description below, and if you join in there, you can chat with us two, can chat with our community, and you can get involved with helping us with some ideas for future content that you'd like to see, games you'd like to see us stream, etc, etc. So definitely join that, and you can follow me and Matty on social media. Where can people find you, mate?
It's at Matty Cheatham on Instagram. If you want to DM me about any games that you need help with, I charge £100 an hour. So I feel like that's a reasonable price.
It's a good rate. Yes, and if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, I'm at LEL3Ds, I don't know in the end. Unfortunately, I will not be able to help you with many games because I complete mine on easy, so I wouldn't bother. But if you do want to DM me or send me a private message on Twitter, feel free. But yes, that's where we're going to leave the podcast for today. We're going to be back next week as well, next Friday. We'll record next Thursday and the podcast will go on next Friday, and this will become a weekly thing, so look out for that to drop. But wherever you are in the world, wherever you listen to this, we hope you have a good day, and we'll talk in soon. Bye, guys.
Later.